Billionaire Arthur Sterling stood before the polished granite, a single white lily in his hand. It had been 5 years since he lost his wife Eleanor, but the ache in his heart felt as fresh as the day she passed. The cemetery was usually a place of quiet solitude, a sanctuary where he could speak to her in the silence. But today, the silence was broken. He heard a soft rustling near the ancient oak tree that shaded her grave. Peeking around the headstone, he saw 2 small figures huddled together for warmth, their clothes ragged and thin. They were twin girls, no older than 7, with identical tangled brown hair and wide, frightened eyes that mirrored each other perfectly. Arthur's heart, usually shielded by the armor of boardrooms and stock prices, softened. He approached them slowly, not wanting to scare them away. "Hello there," he said, his voice gentle. "What are you 2 doing out here all alone?" "Ow." The girls flinched. One, slightly braver, clutched a worn, dirty teddy bear and whispered, "We're just staying warm." Arthur noticed the faint inscription on the bear's faded ribbon, "To my darlings." He crouched down to their level. "My name is Arthur. This is my wife's resting place. Her name was Eleanor." The second girl looked up, a flicker of recognition in her eyes. "Eleanor?" she repeated, the name a soft echo. Arthur offered them the warm pastries he'd bought on his way over. Hesitantly, they accepted, devouring them as if they hadn't eaten in days. "Where are your parents?" he asked kindly. The first girl, who he learned was named Lily, shook her head. "Mommy's in the stars now," she said, pointing to the sky. "She got sick," the other twin, Rosie, added. "She told us to find a good person. She said we'd know." Arthur's chest tightened. He couldn't imagine leaving 2 children to fend for themselves in this cold world. He felt an inexplicable pull to them, a sense of responsibility he hadn't felt since Eleanor was alive. He spent the next hour talking with them, learning about their life on the streets since their mother passed away a few months prior. They spoke of her with such love, describing her beautiful smile and the songs she used to sing. They were bright, sweet children, robbed of their childhood by tragedy. "Your mother sounded like a wonderful woman," Arthur said, a genuine warmth in his voice. "She was," Lily agreed. "She used to work for a really nice lady before she got sick. The lady's name was Eleanor, too." Arthur froze. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. "Eleanor?" "Eleanor Sterling?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. Rosie's eyes lit up. "Yes, that's her. Mommy was her helper, her personal assistant. She said Mrs. Sterling was the kindest person she ever met." A flood of memories washed over Arthur. He remembered Eleanor mentioning a young, bright assistant she'd hired, a single mother she had taken under her wing. Her name was Sarah. Eleanor had been devastated when Sarah had to leave abruptly due to her worsening illness. She had tried to find her, to help her, but Sarah had vanished without a trace, too proud to accept what she considered charity. Arthur stared at the 2 girls, seeing fragments of his own Eleanor in their bright, intelligent eyes. His wife had always wanted children, but they were never able to have their own. In a way, she had tried to mother Sarah, and by extension, these 2 girls. Standing at her grave, it felt as if Eleanor had sent them to him. A profound realization washed over him. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a continuation of his wife's legacy of kindness. Looking from the twins to the name etched in stone, he knew what he had to do. "Your mother was right," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "You found a good person, or rather," he corrected himself, "we found each other." That day, Arthur left the cemetery not with one Lily, but with 2 small hands clasped in his own. He took Lily and Rosie home, a home that had been silent and empty for 5 long years. He began the legal process of adoption immediately. His lawyers were stunned, his business partners confused, but Arthur had never been more certain of anything in his life. He was no longer just a billionaire. He was a father. He saw Sarah's strength in Lily's determination and Eleanor's compassion in Rosie's gentle spirit. The girls brought laughter and light back into the sterile halls of his mansion, filling the void he never thought could be filled. One sunny afternoon, months later, the 3 of them returned to the cemetery. This time, they each carried a bouquet of bright, colorful flowers. They placed them together at the base of the granite headstone. "Thank you, Eleanor," Arthur whispered, his arm around his new daughters. "Thank you for bringing them to me." Lily and Rosie snuggled closer to him. "Thank you, Mommy," Lily said to the sky, "for helping us find our new dad." In that quiet moment, surrounded by the echoes of the past and the promise of the future, Arthur Sterling knew he was the wealthiest man in the U.S. world, not because of the numbers in his bank account, but because of the two precious girls standing by his side. Eleanor's final act of love had given him a family, a purpose, and a happiness he thought he had lost forever. The legacy of kindness had come full circle. Thanks for watching, and if this story touched your heart, please remember to like and subscribe for more.